Winchester is directed by the Spirig brothers and it stars Jason Clarke and Helen Mirren.
And it's inspired by the history of the actual Winchester mansion.
And this movie follows a doctor who is sent to evaluate the mental health of a woman named Sarah Winchester, who has been building on her house continuously for the last 20 years because she believes that she and the house are cursed. Now, unfortunately, there's not a whole bunch of stuff that I can actually talk about for what it did good, other than the fact that you can tell that the people working on this movie tried, most of them. You can tell the director tried, you can tell the actors. The actors are really good. You have Jason Clarke and Helen Mirren, obviously, she's going to do fantastic. And then you have the writing, which is actually pretty good at certain times.
Yeah, the storyline itself, I can say that while I didn't find a lot of it very interesting, I can say that wasn't boring, and I can say that it wasn't just like any other horror movie that's being pushed out nowadays where it feels lazy. But at the same time, the writing still wasn't that strong.
Now, there's a lot of moments in this movie where it kind of gets kind of cheesy. At moments where they kind of show the ghost, or you hear the ghost talk, or sometimes you hear the ghost talk from different people. The voices they use are really cheesy, and some of the special effects they use are really cheesy. And even though I wasn't like invested in this movie, it took me out of the little bit that it had me. But also, this movie relied way too much on jump scares. There was jump scares all throughout, and it wasn't just jump scares like jump scares that would be like in real life, but like it was like jump scares like he like ran into somebody that was just walking across the hallway.
This movie relied on jump scares more than any other movie that I've seen in a while. And if you look on the IMDb page for this movie, it's listed as a biography, fantasy, horror. And by horror, they just pretty much mean that every time that they had something scary or creepy, it was just a jump scare.
Yeah, and we already know from movies like The Babadook that a movie can be creepy and like pretty scary and not have any jump scares at all. They tried kind of hard to have a lot of creepy imagery, but the creepy imagery didn't really work that well. You never really felt any type of fear. Now, the storytelling for this movie, like we said, it wasn't bad, it wasn't that great, but you can tell it was trying. The writing and the dialogue, I'm going to say wasn't that great. It was so weird and so cheesy and kind of didn't really make a whole lot of sense at times with their dialogue. Also, with the writing, I'm going to say the characters weren't really the much there. Except for Jason Clarke's character, and even with Jason Clarke's character, you kind of had you could look at him and kind of care about him, something about him, but at the same time, he didn't really feel like that much of a character, even though they gave him certain character-like aspects. He didn't really feel that much like an actual person.
His character actually felt sort of wooden at times, and Jason Clarke did a fantastic job at acting. It's just that the writing that they had for the character and what was on the screen didn't really mix, because his character was sort of monotone throughout most of the movie and just felt sort of uninteresting.
And even though this movie wasn't necessarily boring, I feel like not a lot of stuff was happening. Until, like, I'm gonna say maybe the last 30 minutes. There was a few pop-ups here and there, like jump scares. Those weren't that great, but there's a few little things here and there. But there was nothing really going on throughout the entire movie until the last bit of it.
And this might be a nitpick, but one thing that sort of bothered me was that Jason Clarke's character, after he's been in the mansion for a couple of nights, he's seen at least 3 different occurrences of where he's seen like an actual spirit, and it's not like a shadow that he's seen it like up close, and yet he still completely disbelieves Helen Mirren when she says that the house is cursed.
So guys, this was a movie I was kind of hoping would be good, but it really did disappoint me. A lot of reliance on jump scares and really not that great of writing. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that Winchester is 45% awesome.
Yeah, like we said, this movie tried to be a good movie, but it just didn't turn out that way and just was sort of uninteresting, and they tried to make things interesting by adding jump scares, and it just didn't work out. So I'm going to say that Winchester is 40% awesome.
So guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment below and, tell us what you thought about this movie, and, maybe you disagree with us. Maybe you really like this movie.
And don't forget to follow us on social media. We have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all at 2 Awesome Men.
And as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see us later.